My sister abandoned her son. I don't want her to come back.
If you abandon your son, I'm abandoning you.
My entire family seems to be torn, and I feel like everybody is making good points. I want to do what is best for my nephew in this situation. I'm going to try to give you guys the black and white version of this. I want you guys to give me honest advice. I want to make sure that I am not letting my emotions harm my nephew or stop him from doing something that he should. By the way, this comes from Question Feisty 9583, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So this story may be a little confusing because I have to tell you guys what happened 6 years ago first. I will use fake names for this post. I was 22 female, now 28. My sister, Abby, was 30, now 36. My nephew, Sammy, was 14, now 20. And my boyfriend was 23, now 29. And my husband. 6 years ago, Sammy lost his childhood best friend. These boys were so close that LJ would come with us on family vacations. They had known each other since they were 3, and people would think that they were twins. LJ passed away in a car accident when he and his father were hit by a wasted driver. Oh my goodness. I'll be honest, it hurt. I felt like I lost a nephew. LJ and Sammy would spend the night at my house all the time when one of their moms had to work. Sammy was understandably distraught. Abby would tell you that he started to act out, but I don't see it that way. Yes, he acted differently, but I feel like every parent here would have given a pass. Here's a list of the things that Sammy did that Abby couldn't handle. His grades dropped from all A's to B's and C's, with mostly B's. He would skip one of his classes to go hide in the library because the teacher made a memorial for LJ and he couldn't handle seeing it every day. This was also within the first week of his passing. Oh my gosh. He didn't want to play basketball anymore because it reminded him of LJ. He later told me that it made him so sad to think of all the plays that they made together. I know I'm not a mom, and Abby would always say I would have understood if I was one, but I still feel like Sammy was a kid who lost his brother, basically. 3 months after LJ passed, Abby and Sammy showed up at my house. Sammy was crying and had a bag with him. And Abby told me that either I could get him or she would drop him off on the street. What? I told him to go to my guest bedroom because I didn't think that he should hear that stuff. That night, I tried to talk to Abby. I asked her what was going on. At this point, I told Abby that I thought losing LJ affected her too. LJ used to call her his second mom. Abby ignored me and left my home. Oh wow. Sammy moved in with me and it was hard for a while. Abby just moved away. She stopped responding to my messages or calls. She would call our parents, but she would hang up if they mentioned Sammy or me. She went no contact with all of us. Oh, wow. What's going on? Up here, what's going on? Now, I'm unsure if this is true, but I believe it is. A few days after Sammy moved in, I asked him what happened with his mom that night. He looked me in the eyes and told me that Abby said, the wrong boy passed away that night. My
Your
stomach
mom
just
is
dropped.
Disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
That's not your mom. That's not his mom.
To her
That's
own son.
No, that's not his mom. You're his mom now.
Now, Abby denies this, but 6 years later, Sammy will still say it word for word.
You don't forget that moment.
No.
There are certain moments where someone says something to you because memory is flawed. Memory is something that is changeable. Like, it's not fact.
Sure.
But there are certain phrases and words that people will say to you that are so deeply impactful that you will never forget.
Yeah. Like, well, if you don't remember, it clearly didn't mean as much to you as it did to the person you said it to. Abby changes her story. At first, it was that she would never say anything like that. Then it was Sammy was overreacting. Then it was, that's too long ago for me to remember. Again, I don't want to say something happens that I'm unsure of, but I 100% believe my nephew. My husband, my boyfriend at the time, helped me to take care of him, and we put Sammy in therapy. It was hard. I felt like I became the mom of a teenager overnight. My parents tried to help, but it was a lot for all of us. Currently, Sammy has gone to college and just finished his second year. Sammy got an amazing internship, and my husband and I threw him a big party in early May. Abby showed up saying how proud of her boy she was. Sammy just stared at her before walking away. She spent the entire party telling his friends and everyone else how she raised such a fine young man. After the party, Sammy told her he never wanted to see her again and that he didn't have a mom. Now, this is where I'm torn. Some of my family feels like Abby deserves a second chance, but I don't. I don't want to let my feelings hold Sammy back, but I really don't think she deserves it. I remember calling my sister for weeks trying to get her to talk to her son. I remember when her son broke his arm and I texted that he was in the ER, and I remember his first date. I remember when he graduated high school. I remember driving him to college. I remember my husband teaching him how to drive.
Aww.
I remember every time I tried to contact her. She had more than one chance. My mom believes that I am afraid of losing my maternal role in Sammy's life, but that's not it.
You couldn't.
I have always kept the mindset that I'm an aunt. It's just when you have a 14-year-old cry to you because his mom won't answer his calls and ask you why she doesn't love him, that changes your mind. Should I encourage Sammy to see his mom? Also, as an add-on, Sammy doesn't want to deal with her at all, but my mom believes that if I encourage it, he will. Abby is also asking me to help her reconnect with Sammy. And there is an edit. I have a quick edit to make. I apologize if this is incoherent because I am pissed. Long story short, my mom called Sammy this morning asking if he would fix something on her smart TV.
No.
Oh, but he agreed to do it before he came over here for dinner.
They're gonna trap him.
Yeah. My mom and Abby bombarded him. I am pissed already about this, but that's not the worst part. The worst effing part is that I thought Abby came back because she was remorseful or regretted everything. But no, Abby was engaged to a man who has a 9-year-old daughter. Apparently, when the guy found out that she abandoned Sammy, he called it off.
And yeah,
as he should.
I don't feel bad for you at all.
Yeah.
This is not a person who deserves, like, for her, the audacity to abandon her son.
Yeah.
And then only come back into his life.
Yeah.
When she needs him to look better.
Yes.
In the eyes of her fiance.
Yeah, she just is trying to marry this person.
Yeah.
And this is like the final step.
He is a step in her plan, and that's it.
That's despicable. She only wants to bring Sammy around so that he can pretend his mom was always in his life. The guy said that he couldn't marry a person who would just abandon her son.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I am trying my best to be respectful to my mom, but I could honestly cuss her out. It is taking all of my power to not drive to her house right now. And there is an update, but oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I thought that would just be a quick little clarification thing. But that was like a whole update in itself.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, no, you don't need to encourage that
and then they
relationship.
do it anyway. My thing that I was going to say was also, no, you could, if you wanted, go to him and say, if you want to ever see your mom, I'm not going to, say anything against that. But I also support you in your decision to not ever want to see her.
Yeah, I mean, he's 20 now.
He's 20.
So that
He's
is
an adult.
like...
It's not a child. You're not
Exactly.
keeping him from his mom. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But he also needs to know that, you're always there for him in a way that his mom has never been
Exactly.
for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, I would say like limiting contact with your own mom.
Yeah, I want the OP's mom to like really know what's going on because it feels like she doesn't.
Yeah,
somehow.
I'm just like, what is this?
I don't know. But we do have an update. I would like to thank you all for your messages. Sammy and I sat down and went through each message to help us both know that we made the right choice. I want to answer a few questions. A lot of people wanted to know why I was doubting my decision to not support Abby's and Sammy's reunion. The answer is that I have had 2 miscarriages in the past 3 years. Oh, wow. And after the second one, my husband and I decided to stop trying. Every time I would bring up how my sister abandoned Sammy, my mom would say things like, "You will never understand what it's like to be a mom," or "You'll understand if you ever have kids." And she would punt me while I was down. I know it's weak, but those moments would make me shut up. She would also say I was keeping Sammy from Abby because I could never be a real mom and was scared that she would take him. I let all of that get to me. People also asked about Sammy's dad. I never met the guy. I don't know if my sister knows who he is, honestly. She used to say that they met at a game, but again, I never met him. Now, the update. This morning, my husband, Sammy, and I decided to go to my mother's house. Before we went, I showed Sammy this post, and he wants to say thank you to all of you. My family was starting to get to him as well, and hearing other people, especially parents, say that what his mom did was unforgivable helped him a lot. Sammy is in therapy and has been since he was about 15. The very first thing I noticed when we arrived was how little Abby interacted with Sammy. At the party, Abby kept trying to touch him or talk to him, etc. But this morning she looked up and that was it. It made me feel like she's only a mom when others are around. My mom immediately started asking if we wanted to get over the past and become a family.
No, they're both,
You can't.
your mom and your freaking sister
Yeah.
are both moms when it looks good.
Yeah.
When they want something.
Exactly.
It's these are not moms. You are a mother.
Yeah, and it's not the past anymore. Like it's still happening because she still doesn't want to come back for the right reasons.
No.
She's just trying to desperately get some sort of marriage to work out.
The fact that either of them said, I can't remember which one, but like whoever said that you weren't a mother is ridiculous. Motherhood is not simply giving birth. It is raising the child. It is loving that child.
Yeah.
No matter, the circumstances, that no matter if they get a B or a C, like that's not, there are no conditions in loving your child.
Yeah. Sammy said that Abby, he refuses to call her mom, had to at least apologize. Abby dared to say, I didn't do anything wrong. You were horrible. I am normally a calm person, but this time I saw red. I immediately stood between them to tell her that she was a horrible mom who barely deserved to be called that. He lost his best friend. He can miss a few answers on a test. Abby also tried to pull the you will never be a mom, and I pulled out my phone to find this thread. I searched every message that detailed how horrible she and my mom was. Abby threatened to make her own post to expose the truth. Side note, Jamie, my sister's real name. I dare you to tell these people the truth. Make a post trying to excuse abandoning your 14-year-old in a moment when he needed you the most, and how you only want to come back because your ex-fiance refused to marry such a monster. Sammy also said that if he finds out that she made a post on her, he will make a post and include screenshots of all of the times he texted and called her and got no response. At this point, I thought I was getting through to my mom. She was starting to read every message and was realizing how she was enabling my sister. But my sister immediately went, "You exposed my business on the internet," and my mom immediately started to berate me. At this point, my husband spoke up. He told my mom that she wasn't welcomed into this house and told my sister that if she contacted his son again, he would press charges. Boom. Yeah. Woo! Sammy also added that if his mom contacted him ever again, he would find her ex online and tell him everything. Good. By the way, you can always find us online. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and search OK Storytime, where you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one.
Ain't that the truth?
Get on over there. But oh my gosh, there's a little bit more to the story, but how are we feeling? Any final thoughts before we move on?
My final thought is you are a mother.
You are a mother.
Regardless of your mother. Regardless of whether or not you gave birth to Sammy, you raised him and you cared for him. You still care for him, and his mother and your mother don't know how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sophia was saying earlier, like it's more than just giving birth. You are his mother. That man is his father, whether it's like legal or not, you have been taking care of him, especially when he was literally abandoned by you. So, but there is a little bit more.
Abandoned by his mom.
Yeah. Long story short, we are all going no contact with my mom and sister, as well as anyone else who tries to give us messages from them. My mom already tried to convince my dad to make me talk to them. Jamie and I have different fathers, but he cussed them out. I talked to Sammy about everything, and he did admit that this all felt like a setback. He felt like he only mattered to his mom because she needed something. He will be talking to his therapist about that. My husband and I are thinking about moving. This, of course, will take some time. We always planned on moving, but we didn't want to force Sammy to change schools, especially when he got to high school. I just want to say thank you all again. You guys helped me realize that I was allowing my mom and sister to take my miscarriage and use it to make me a flying monkey. I know I didn't give birth to Sammy, but to me, he is my son. And that is the end. Oh my gosh. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
This is a Mother's Day story. My parents gave my sister a huge wedding gift, but completely ignored mine.
Well, that's just not fair, is it?
I'm the eldest of 3, female 28, female 22, and male 20. My siblings have had an entirely different childhood than mine. I was dubbed the problem child and frequently butted heads with my mom mostly. I left home at 17 and never looked back. My parents kept my siblings from me out of spite and because they didn't want me corrupting them. By the way, this comes from Fighting Darwin, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, for the record, I was not a bad kid by any stretch of the imagination. I just had very physically and emotionally harmful parents. My sister and I have begun to become close since she hit about 16 or 17 and had a little more freedom. My sister recently had an unplanned baby 9 months ago and is getting married next month, which I am not exactly supportive of because she and her fiance have many problems they think marriage will magically fix, and a baby.
Of course.
Which the baby didn't fix, but was supposed to. Whatever, it's not my life, though I have voiced my concerns to her and was waved off. Fine, her life, not my business. My husband and I got married 2.5 years ago and have been together for 11 years. My parents argued with me about the entire thing, made me cry many times, and were awkward and embarrassing at the actual wedding. They never once congratulated us and couldn't even be bothered to give us a card. Subsequent visits with the parents had my dad mention something about a wedding present soon, but there was never any follow through, and I never asked because they'd flaked on me a lot before. I've mentioned to my sister that their actions hurt me, and she was sympathetic. Yesterday, we were discussing wedding plans, and she told me that mom and dad had gifted them an early present in the form of a check for $10,000. I'm very hurt, and I wish she hadn't told me. I haven't mentioned it to my husband yet because, frankly, as much as I know they and are unfair, it makes me feel really broken that I can't even have a normal, loving family like he does. And I know he hates it when my parents make me feel unloved and less than. I am very low contact with my parents anyway, but I can feel the urge to withdraw even from my sister, even though she has done nothing wrong. It's not about the money, but the finally undisputed evidence that they don't care for me at all. That really hurts. And I don't know how to deal with those feelings or how to stay friendly with my sister right now without ruining this for her. That's tricky. I mean, it's not your sister's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
it's a problem with you and your parents.
Yeah, it's you and your parents.
Yeah.
And you can potentially, if you're close with your sister, you could be like, yeah, I'm a little upset. Like, this is not at all your fault.
Right.
You know, I'm a little upset because mom and dad, like, didn't give me anything. And it's not, again, not anything to do with you.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to approach that conversation with them. And I feel like our relationship is really complicated. So just approaching it from like our relationship with my mom and dad, not your relationship with your sibling.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Comment 1. I think this is a sign for you to go no contact with your parents. They only bring you sadness. Stay in contact with your sister. Tell her you don't want anything to do with your parents. OP says, yes, I think this is the way to go. I will wait until after the wedding as I don't want my sister to feel badly or to stress herself out even more. I know she feels bad because she kind of blurted it out with a forewarning to not be offended. Reply, yes, your parents, but your sister's too. If she had to say, don't get offended, before telling you something, she knew she was going to hurt your feelings and didn't really care. She knows your situation. She knows how you would feel. She knows how they treat you. Why would she even bring it up? Is this information relevant to you or benefit you in any way? I'm sorry, OP, but if I were you, I would reevaluate my relationship with her. Comment 2 says you're over 5 years older than your sister, so maybe your parents are in a different financial situation than when you got married? Or maybe they felt like she needed it to have a wedding? I bring the age up because a similar thing happened in my family and caused problems. The reason was because my parents were more well off financially for the younger sibling. Opie says that is a fair point, but nothing has changed in their financial situation in the last 2 years. Same job, same house, no financial windfalls. Sister and fiance have a lot of debt and spending about twice what we did for our wedding, so that could be part of it. And there is an update. Any thoughts before we jump in?
I mean, that is a good, question about the parents' financial situation, but I still wouldn't blame the sister.
No.
I still, I wouldn't be mad at her for being like, I know this is going to upset you, but I'm going to talk to you anyway.
I mean, it depends on how the sister approached it, but
Sure.
I think it is important for OP to know. It's relevant information.
Yeah,
it's our parents are kind of playing favorites.
Right, like maybe the sister is aware of that and be like, hey, don't get offended, but they gave me this money. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I am, but not by you.
Yeah.
I feel like they can band together.
A sisterhood.
Split the 10K. Well, you could do that, or you could come to the parents and be like, yo,
true.
I got married. Where's my money?
Where's my money?
Where's my money, man?
Update. I appreciated all the responses on my previous post. There were some very helpful and eye-opening points made by many kind people. I've gone fully no contact with my parents now and have asked both my sister and brother to not be passing along information about mine and my husband's lives, which they both agreed to. The wedding reception was a bit of a disaster, but my sister says she had a great time, and I guess that's all that's important. The bridal party were all great people and had been forewarned about the parental shenanigans that were sure to ensue, and so we're ready to head off anything that mom might have pulled to ruin things. We got in the day before and headed to the rehearsal, which was supposed to be just the wedding party and wedding planners, but my mom decided to crash that with her friends in tow. I pretty much ignored her the entire evening and did my best to help my sister, who was stressing out because mom was throwing a fit about the seating arrangement and how things didn't look like how she envisioned it, etc., etc. Day of the wedding went smoothly through the ceremony. then a snag with the photos because sister didn't take group photos of my mom and her friends, who she kept calling our family, despite knowing them all for maybe 3 years. Mom then cornered the photographer and made him take photos of her and her girls in various poses. Sister was just like, whatever, since she already got the pictures she wanted. Dinner happened, then speeches, where my parents both caught up and made a speech about how excited to finally have a son-in-law that aligned with their views, blah, blah.
What views?
When OP already is married to someone, so. Overall, much less embarrassing than the one they had at our wedding, where they mentioned things like dowries and implying that I was their property to hand over. Never mind the fact that they had nothing to do with me as an adult. The reception was going well until my sister, who had wasted about 3 times more than she had eaten the whole day, tripped on her dress and face planted, giving herself a mild concussion and a fractured cheekbone? Oh my gosh. Being medically trained, I looked her over and went to get an ice pack / cold water and had sat her in a quiet corner to settle her nerves. By the time I got back, Mom was full on screaming at my sister about how wasted she was, how she was embarrassing, how she was a bad mother because my niece had been handed around throughout the night to relatives who wanted to have some baby snuggles. And where was my niece anyway? How could she not be attending to the baby? Blah, blah. It's her wedding. Jesus.
Girl.
Niece was sleeping in her stroller and being checked on by myself, my husband, and the wedding planners in the venue's kitchen. At this point, I was interjecting and trying to tell my mom to back off, that the baby was fine, and my sister needed to rest. And Mom decided to jump down my throat and scream at me for something. I didn't really need to listen to her. When I told her she needed to get out of my face right now and walk away, she kept getting up in my space and screaming more.
Whoa. You can't be doing that.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Then when I tried to walk away, she started attacking me, scratching my arms and attempting to slap me. She's like,
what? This is the mom?
Yeah.
Huh?
I was a little dazed, and my husband had noticed and come over quickly and separated her and told her to go. Dad just stood by and watched this all, then had the audacity to tell my husband not to get involved and then bring up a phone call from 4 years ago.
What?
When my husband had called them after my mom made me cry about wedding plans and told them nicely to go F themselves.
What?
We just walked away from him and went to sit at our table, and my husband tried to console me. The other bridesmaids, groomsmen, and groom were checking on my sister. We watched his mom gathered her posse and my poor grandmother and left the reception fuming. Other guests also began to trickle out at this point, and soon it was just the wedding party and planners left at the reception. This is a crazy wedding.
This really is. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is your sister's wedding.
Yeah. Well, yes.
For
the sister.
Since then, I have not breathed a word to my parents. My sister and brother have both been asked not to divulge anything about me to them, as has my grandmother, whom I speak to frequently, and all are agreeable and understand. That's good. You've got a support system still.
Yeah, that's good.
My sister has been in regular contact with them, I guess, and according to her, my parents expect an apology from me for embarrassing them in front of all their friends. What? I'm sure them screaming at your sister wasn't embarrassing at all.
Yeah. Why are the friends more important than their blood?
They don't care. The thing is, like, yeah, they gave your sister $10K.
Yeah.
But they care about your sister as much as they care about you. It just looks different because it's showing up in a different way.
I wonder if she's had these friends for 3 years and OP got married 5 years ago. Well, I actually don't know if it was 5 years ago. That's just their age difference. But I wonder if they weren't friends back then.
Yeah.
And now that she is friends with them, she's like, oh, I have to like look good in front of my friends.
Exactly.
And make this generous donation.
I'm not sure what mental gymnastics they did to arrive at that point, but what can you do? But you don't have to do any sort of mental gymnastics to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Up OK Storytime. There is a wee bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
This feels like those like slapstick comedy sitcoms, you know, where it's like people are falling over, people start yelling, and then it's like, this was supposed to be my wedding day.
Yeah,
like,
she's just trying to get married, man.
Yeah, just let her be.
Yeah. Josh in the chat says, why is the sister still in contact with the parents? The only way that I can explain this is going to sound silly, but there's this show called She-Ra.
Okay.
And you have this character, Shadow Weaver, who is kind of this evil character, and Adora and Catra are the main people.
Yeah.
Adora is this golden child. And Shadow Weaver's always like, oh, Adora, like, you're amazing. You're going to be the force of, you know, for the horde. And then Catra is this, like, person who can do no right in Shadow Weaver's eyes. And so the whole thing is that you find out while she is upholding like Adora as this perfect person. Adora is like cracking under the pressure of having to be perfect in her eyes and is still being like in a way.
Yeah.
Even though to Catra, it's like, oh my God, they love you. Or she loves you. And so to put this in this world, your sister, yes, is getting $10,000, but still has to be this perfect child. Like, is still affected.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's my thought. Unfortunately, their pettiness is causing tension with regards to family occasions. My niece will be one soon, and with Christmas coming, my sister said Mom told her that she would not be in any room or occasion in which I am present and refuses to even be cordial. She told my sister that the next time she sees me, she will make sure I know exactly what I did to her. Because of that and not wanting to ruin my niece's first birthday, and because I know my sister is stressed about this, I won't be attending the baby's first birthday, but I will see her the weekend before so I can give her her present and spend time with her. This does make me sad as I love my niece and want to be there, but I don't want her memories to be of bad times between Auntie and Grandma. And that is the end of that story.